Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maisie. This is a monthly tradition on my channel to do a monthly TBR choosing from my prompt jar, and honestly it's been going so well. I've really been reading so much more of my physical TBR. I've been sticking to my TBR for the most part. So as you will know if you have seen one of these videos before, I like to start by going through any books I didn't get to that were on last month's TBR and putting them back on my TBR card. So I did well. I had 9 books on my physical TBR from last month and I didn't read 3 of those. So I read 6 out of 9 of my physical TBR for the month, which I think is really good. So yeah, these are the ones that I just didn't get to. Firstly, we had Threads That Bind by Kika Hatsapolo. I knew that this one was unlikely to be read, to be honest. So yeah, this one will go back on the TBR. Next we have another fantasy. This is A Fate of Wrath and Flame by K.A. Tucker. I very nearly picked this one up, but I in the end went for another one instead. Yeah, back on the TBR cup. And then finally, another one that I really wanted to get to but just like ran out of time, and that is You With a View by Jessica Joyce. So these 3 books are the ones that are going back on the TBR card. You know what? I think it's going to be time for a book haul because I've got some space in my cart. Let's stick to today's video, which is the TBR. So this is my prompt pineapple jar, and in it we have many different prompts. I will be picking 8 prompts as usual, and that will be my physical TBR for the month. I did want to say, by the way, if anybody has any prompt ideas that they want to share to put in the jar, then please comment them down below or send me a message on Instagram. I would love to get your ideas and add some more prompts to the jar. There is specifically one book that is coming out this month that I need to read, and that is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark, which is the last book in the Magnolia Park's series. So yeah, I'm hoping I get a prompt that fits. If not, that'll be an additional book on the monthly TBR. So let's get into it and pick our first prompt. I'm sorry if you can't see the full cart. There you go. Now you can see the full cart at least. So the first prompt is going to be, if I can open it. Oh, that's not great. A book on my Kindle library. Let me just open Kindle on here. Not great for my physical TBR, but to be honest, there are some books that I know I want to read on a Kindle this month. So I'm actually going to choose, this is actually a book that I want to read for a video. In fact, there's a few that I could choose from here for that video, but I think let's go with this one. So that is The Predator by Runix. Is that how you say it? I don't know. That's going to be the first book on my TBR for this month. Okay, not for my physical TBR, but still good because I want to read that one anyway for a video. Okay, next prompt. Whoops, this one fell out, so let's choose it. Next prompt is Sister Chooses a Book. I think what I'm going to do is message her a picture of my TBR and ask her to choose. So let's just message her. Please, can you pick a book for me to read from my book for me to add to my TBR for Feb. And I sent her a picture there of the TBR. I realise this might be an issue if I choose a book before she responds, so let's hope she responds quickly. While we wait for her to respond, let's choose another prompt. Okay, next we have Finish a Series. That's not a great prompt because I actually don't know. So on my physical TBR, I literally don't have any books that would mean I would finish a series. But I do have at least one that would be working towards finishing a series. So I can either choose one from Kindle to finish a series, or I can choose one for my physical TBR. I want to choose some books for my physical TBR, so I'm gonna go for Addicted After All. This is like the next book where I'm up to in Addicted Calloway. Oh, actually this will be finishing the Addicted series because this is the last book in Addicted. There are some more books following this in the Calloway Sisters series, but technically actually that's finishing the Addicted series, so yay, go me. That's going to be my choice for this one. If you don't know what this series is, it is a romance series. Specifically, the Addicted series follows Lily and Lo, who are best friends who both have addictions. He is an alcoholic and she is a sex addict. And it's kind of just following them and their lives and their romance. Very like character driven, not a huge plot to it, but it's like a massive favourite series for so many people. I would say I like it, I don't love it. And I think that my sister has messaged me back. So let's see what she has said. Have you not picked any of them yet? I'm going to say the Happy Ever After playlist, which I'm quite surprised of, to be honest. I don't think I've ever heard her talk about that book. But that seems to be what we're going to add. Yeah, I'm surprised because, yeah, as I said, she's not really spoken about that book. She's not really in her romance era. She used to love romance, and when she first like got like properly into reading, she read a lot of romance books, but she's moved on to more of like her horror, thriller and fantasy phase. So I'm shocked that she's picked this, but this is the Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. This is a romance. I don't actually know what like kind of trope romance it is, but I know that the woman, I think, finds this dog and manages to get in contact with the owner of the dog, and he is like on tour or something. He's like a musician, I think, and he basically says like, can you look after the dog until I'm back? Which is a bit weird actually. Anyway, that's all I know about this book. The only Abby Jimenez book I have read is, just looking at my shelves to remember what it's called, Part of Your World is the only one that I have read by her. And I think that this is like in a series, and it's not technically the first book in the series, but I don't think you have to read all of them. And this was just the one that like sounded most interesting to me, so sorry about that. This is the one I'm gonna read, and yeah, that's our third book on our TBR. Okay, let's pick prompt number 4. A romance book. Not great considering I've literally just chosen 2 romance books. Actually, even the one on my Kindle is a romance book. So this is very heavy on the romance front. Oh, I could choose Magnolia Parks, do I? I also really want to start Binding 13 because I've just wanted to read this series for such a long time. Am I really going to get around to it this month? I have like a lot of books planned that I want to read, and I'm not sure that I'm going to have time to read this because it's so long, but I'm thinking about it. I also could do You With a View, which I didn't get to last month, but I really want to read, and I think it will just be like a nice, quick, easy read. I could do Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. That's like a newer release that I've not read yet. Let's be honest, there's loads of books I could choose for this. Obviously the sensible thing would be to choose Magnolia Parks. Tell me why I just want to choose this. I'm gonna do it. I am gonna read Magnolia Parks no matter what, but I know that like I'm unlikely to pick this up if it's not on my TBR, so let's do it. We're gonna go for Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. That is 4 books chosen. Next one we have, oh, interesting. Ugly cover. To be honest, I don't like the cover for Binding 13, so I could have chosen that. Definitely can't choose Magnolia Park because those covers are amazing. What's an ugly cover? Okay. Well, let me get some options. Honestly, I don't really have many ugly covers. I could definitely choose something from my Kindle for this, which is probably why I don't own the books, because I'm not a big fan of the covers. I'm gonna go for one of these 2. So I have The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is the second book in Bridgerton. This is by Julia Quinn. So I could choose that, or I could choose The Score, which it's not like super ugly, but also like it's not really it's not to my taste, let's say. I definitely prefer a more discreet cover. This is a reread, by the way. I read this a few years ago, and then I've been like, well, my plan was to reread some of my favourite books in the series and then carry on with Briar U, because yeah, here we have the play in the Briar U series and I haven't read that one yet. However, I started my reread of this and I got 90 pages in apparently. This was a good few months ago and I haven't picked it up since. But you know what, actually let's add this to the TBR because I'm already partway through and I would just like to get this off my TBR card because it technically is already read, but I told myself I was going to reread it, so I want to do it. I'm really hoping that we can get some fantasy on here because that's 5 books, so we've only got 3 more prompts and not one fantasy. Oh no. Lowest rated on Goodreads. Now I need to just double check first that all of these books are on my Goodreads want to read, so let's open Goodreads, check that they're on there, and then we can decide. Okay, that is done. And before I do this, I'm going to guess actually that it's going to be either Cleopatra and Frankenstein or The Viscount Who Loved Me, the second Bridgerton book. Anyway, so I'm going to sort this by average rating, and we will do this. Oh, okay. I was wrong. So we have The Stars Are Dying. And actually after that it's The Nanny. So I was completely wrong. In fact, oh yeah, Cleopatra and Frankenstein is quite low on the list. But wow, Bridgerton, you go. Where are you? Pop off, Bridgerton. Oh shit, where even is it? Why is it not there? I mean, obviously I've scrolled past it, haven't I? There. Wow. 4.03. Doing well there. Okay. We finally have a fantasy book on our TBR at least, although now I am worried because it is the lowest rated book on my Goodreads. What rating did it actually have? 3.53. That is quite low, so I'm a little bit worried now. But this is So The Stars Are Dying by Chloe C. Penaranda. I can't remember to read the blurb. It's too long. I don't know what this is about. I remember I found out what it was about when I hauled it in my book haul, but I already don't know. Can't remember. I see vampires. It's a fantasy romance, I believe. That's all I know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 2 more prompts to choose. I'm not sure about this month's TBR, I'm going to be honest. Oh, okay, a good one. A book you think will be 5 stars. I had this prompt last month, but to be honest, I need it now. Although, what book do I think will be 5 stars? So normally I would say Iron Flame because I loved Fourth Wing, but obviously I've seen that it's got very mixed reviews and people aren't really loving it as much as they loved Fourth Wing. So I'm thinking maybe not Iron Flame. Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. This is a thriller that lots of people seem to love, so this could definitely be an option. Same for One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This could be an option. Lots of people seem to love this series. I also have The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Polston. This could definitely, lots of people love this book, so this could be a 5 stars. Also, I have Glow by Raven Kennedy. I am really enjoying this series. However, none of the books have been a 5 stars for me yet. I think the highest was Glint, which was 4.5 stars. So I don't know that this is going to be 5 stars, but it could be. And then the only other one I think is likely to be 5 stars is A House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas. I do really want to read this, but in January I finished Throne of Glass, and I don't know if maybe I just need a break from these massive books. Also, I'm kind of worried about starting to read it when Crescent City 3 is coming out, because there's no way I'm going to catch up in time for Crescent City 3. Well, in fact, no, it comes out on January 30th, so obviously I'm not. However, right now, I don't know anything about Crescent City. I mean, I know the names of some of the characters, but I don't know anything about it. So avoiding spoilers is easier, because if I see anything that's Crescent City, I kind of scroll past. My eyes aren't drawn to it. I don't really know what people are talking about. But I'm worried that if I was to be starting reading this while people are posting about Crescent City 3, the spoilers will make sense. I will know what I've seen. I just am a bit worried. So I don't think I'm going to choose that for this reason. I don't know if that makes sense. But I do really need to read Crescent City soon. So I've had that book for such a long time. I will read it soon, I promise. I think what I'm actually going to choose, I think I'm between One Dark Window or Pretty Girls. And I think I'm going to go for... Oh, I really want to read both of these. I think I'm going to go for One Dark Window, just because I'm more likely to be in a fantasy mood than a thriller mood. So I'm going to go for One Dark Window. We will see if it's 5 stars. Last month, the book that I chose for this prompt wasn't 5 stars, but it was 4 stars, so, you know, not awful. Okay, last prompt. Okay, so the last prompt for our TBR is book with flowers on the cover. A touch of darkness could be an option. Oh, Pretty Girls. I don't know if there's any others other than these two, but as soon as I've seen that Pretty Girls has a flower on the cover, not the nicest looking flower, but a flower nonetheless, I know that I want to choose this because I was really torn before. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. This is a thriller. I don't know too much about it. I think it follows two sisters whose sister went missing when they were younger. That's kind of all I know, but I've heard so many good things about this book. So let's do a recap of the books that we've chosen and put them on our top shelf of the TBR. Oh, okay, so the first book, the first book, of course, was the one on Kindle, which was The Predator. I think that's what it was called, by Runix. So that was the first book that we chose, and then we have Addicted After All to finish a series. Kind of. I'm just realising, because I'm talking about this, I'm thinking about some of these other prompts. There was like multiple that I could have chosen. Magnolia Parks, Into the Dark for. I could have chosen it for that prompt. Happy Ever After Players by Abby Jimenez. This was my sister's choice. Then we have Finding 13 by Chloe Walsh. This was a romance, I think. Yeah, I think this prompt was just a romance book. Then we have The Score by Elle Kennedy. This was a cover I didn't like, or an ugly cover, I think. Again, for a romance book, could have chose Magnolia Parks. Next we have the lowest rated book on Goodreads on your TBR, and that is The Stars Are Dying by Chloe C. Penaranda. Then we have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This was for a book that you think will be 5 stars. Definitely, I could have chosen Magnolia Parks Into the Dark for that. And lastly, we have Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, and this was one for a flower on the cover. So there we have it. That is my physical TBR for the month. Will I stick to it? I don't know. We will see. Quite a few of these will probably be in reading vlogs throughout the month, and also I will of course be doing a monthly wrap up. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. As I said, leave a comment with any prompt ideas that you have, and yeah, hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye!